Hello and welcome to episode 87 of the DXmentor, a discussion with Hal, W88C, regarding the incredibly successful 9 Uniform 1 radio uniform Burundi DXpedition. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. We have a back catalog covering many aspects of DX in both podcast and YouTube format. Please check us out. If you like what you find, please subscribe to always be notified about upcoming events. I'd like to pass along a comment that I received. Quote, Bill and Joe, I wanted to send a quick thank you to you. Since I started listening to the DXmentor during my commute a few months ago, I've completed my DXCC and I'm now getting rare DX stations in my log. The guests are incredible and I love hearing their stories. I've learned so much and I really am enjoying the hobby more now. Thanks for everything you do. And that was from Mike, and I for you. Well, thank you, Mike, for those comments. And if anybody has any comments at all, you can always send them to me, thedxmentor@gmail.com, and I can address them either live like this or via email. It's up to you. Well, let's hear more about the 9 Uniform 1 Radio United DXpedition. Well, hello, and welcome to the latest edition of the DXmentor, and you're in for a good time tonight. I've got two of the guys I consider to be truly solid radio friends and great operators, and just always look forward to both these guys. And tonight the topic is going to be the 9U1 RU DXpedition to Burundi. And I just want to read something from the press release, and then we'll get started. An international team of 9 operators consisting of R7AL, OK8AU, RW9JZ, W88C, SP6EQZ, RU3UR, UA3QLC, R2BW, RA1ZZ, and R5EC will run a DXpedition from the Republic of Burundi as 9 Uniform 1 radio uniform from October 31st till November 17th of 25. QRV will be with at least 7 high-powered stations 24/7 on all HF band during 20 days. Their goal is to work as many stations as possible, paying attention to distant regions and low power pistols. They found a good location with a clear takeoff to the most common directions. So that's probably the best introduction I can give. And as always, I've got Joe, W8GEX. He's going to introduce himself. Then we're going to turn it over to our guest of honor, Hal, W8HC. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Hal. Thanks for being here with us. I started out when I was a young teenager. I guess all teenagers are young, come to think about it. And and I and came up through the ranks, got broke in on DXing, and because of all that, been on 62 DXpeditions, been on 2 or 3 with Hal here. So, how'd you get started, Hal?
Well, similar. I was young. I was probably 13 years old, and my father had bought me and my brothers a set of walkie-talkies. I think they were 500 milliwatt walkie-talkies using 9-volt batteries, channel 14,
Yes.
and my exposure to DXing, my first exposure to DXing was to have my brother take one of the walkie-talkies and see how far away he could go down the street that we could, and I could still communicate with him. And so that was kind of my first fascination was, how I could talk to my brother, with this walkie-talkie, and he's 2 blocks away. And so that was just something, and I think it's something that's kind of innate in all of us is just that the magic that's associated with radio. And my father saw that. He encouraged my participation, and he hooked me up with a guy who'd been a ham. And next thing I know, I've got a code practice oscillator. I'm learning Morse code, and then I got a Heathkit GR64 general coverage shortwave kit that I'm building. The problem was I didn't have a soldering iron. I had a wood burning
Oh,
pencil.
really?
Yes, and so I built that receiver, and ended up we had to send it to Heathkit to have them resolder all the cold joints in it. But anyway, it's been a fascinating journey for me since 1967 when I got my first got my license. So
Wow.
anyway, love it. I love it.
When I look at your webpage, you've been at several DXpeditions. So can you just highlight a few of them for us?
Uh, yeah, I've been very blessed. My first experience on the expedition side were kind of solo ventures that I did back starting in I think 2003. I traveled some to the Middle East and operated over in the Middle East, and then I started doing these. My goal was to work from as many Marconi sites. I was a big Marconi fan, and so I would take my IC 706 to different sites in Ireland, and so there's a lot of Marconi sites in Ireland, and so that was my passion. I wanted to see if I could operate from all the Marconi sites in Ireland. And then in 2012, I was at Friedrichshafen at Ham Radio, and I met a guy named Joe Pater, W8GEX, and he was preparing to go to Swains with the NH8S group, and he was talking to me. He said, "Listen," he said, "would you ever been on a DXpedition?" And I said, "No, not really a DXpedition." "Well, if there was an opportunity, would you be interested?" Yeah. Well, a couple weeks later, I get an email from Joe, and he said, "We've got an opening. Are you interested?" And so that was my first introduction to DXpeditioning in the 2012 with NH8S, and I attribute that to Joe to get me started. And I think once you get one under your belt, there could be another one follow. And like maybe some of the other guys that have gotten into the DXpeditioning side of this, say, "Well, I'll try it once," and if I want to try it once, and you do it once and you're hooked. I think it's like crack. So
now you did one to the Aleutian Islands 2 years
I actually did two of them up there. We did our in 2021, I guess it was. We went up there to wanted to go to Kiska, which is the next to the last island group in the Aleutian chain, and that kind of fell through. We only got as far as Adak, and then so the next year, I think it was 20. It was the next year. Was it either 22 or 23? I've lost track. We did go to Kiska, and so I've done Adak and Kiska, and Kiska is it's the island it's an uninhabited island. It's a National World War II historic monument, and I've given presentations on Kiska. That K7K was the DXpedition, just a phenomenal operation, and it was my first experience with Adrian KO8SCA, and that's some wild country up there out in the Aleutians in the Berings.
and before that, hadn't you come from somewhere else like Market? No, I'm thinking it like somewhere up around the North Pole or something.
Yeah, we did Svalbard, Juliet Whiskey Zero Alpha. There were I think 6 or 8 of us. Went with the Dateline DXpedition group, Tom and a couple of other guys. We did I don't know, 8 or 10 days up Juliet Whiskey Zero, which is that's an awesome place, and so did that one. Did the Palmyra K5P, K9W Wake Island. Joe was on that one, of course, and then did American Samoa at Tutuila, and I don't know. Everything's a blur.
Yeah.
Wow. Seems to be a blur, but to get back to the 9U last year in February, following up with the island stuff that we were doing and the working with the Russian Robinson Club, the RRC, and Yuri N3 Queen out in the Seattle area. He would put together this DXpedition going down to Central America, and his plan was to hit 3 different entities down there. Costa Rica, there's an island down there that was rare on iota. It's um, I think it was North America 119. Anyway, so he had that. We were going to go to Panama and Nicaragua. We ended up just going to the island. Kenyo is the name of the island, and operated from there. And one of the members of that team is from Czech Republic, is Slav, Oscar Kilo 8 Alpha uniform. And at the end of the expedition, and he told me about the some of his DXpeditions with the Russian DX team, RUDXT. He said, we do at least one of these every year. Would you possibly be interested in participating in one if an opportunity came up? And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I always entertain going somewhere that I've never been and doing this kind of stuff. So, it worked out that I was able to get involved with be a part of the 9U1 project, which they had picked out, I think, about a year prior. So, if you look up the RUDX team, you see a lot of the countries in Africa that have been activated, and they do a phenomenal job. So it worked out. It was contingent on my knee surgery, and so I recovered from that, and joined the team, and so that's how that evolved.
So what was their thought process in picking Burundi? Do you know, was it was high on the most wanted list, or it hadn't been activated, or?
It was number 60 on the list. So, it's, fairly, high in the middle there. And it was just a place that they had not been to. And I think 3 or 4 of the guys on the team in June or July had gone to Mozambique. They did Charlie 93 RRC and Charlie 92 RRC from 2 different IOTAs in Mozambique, and it was kind of a tune-up for this expedition to Burundi, and so their goal, of course, was to take it out of the top 100, which they we did
Yes.
with the conclusion. It's I think now it's like 105 or 106 on the Club Log's most wanted list, but I think the reason that they wanted to do it is because they hadn't been there before.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
Yeah, if you're going to go through the logistics, why go to the same place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I studied the map, I realized it is literally sandwiched between Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Tanzania. None of those 3 places makes me think of stability. So what were your logistics for getting into Burundi? Was there anything special you had to do, or?
Well, yes. I mean, we had to get a visa, and there were some requirements. That had to have the yellow fever vaccine, which I had from when I'd gone to Ghana. We did the 9G DXpedition a few years ago, and so had to have that. And of course, I wanted to know what I was getting into. You go to some of these places, that's politically, and you don't know what you're getting into. And now the U.S. State Department doesn't recommend travel to Burundi. It's a place that they won't tell you that it's off limits or you shouldn't go, but it's not recommended. I think it's the way it was on their website. So, but they did indicate there where there are hot zones or places that you don't go. And so I was assured by Vasily, R7 Alpha Lima, our team leader, that we would not be going to those places, and we didn't, and so that was kind of encouraging, but we did have some issues upon arrival. I don't know if you want to hear about them. I can tell you. So.
Well, so Hal, what Joe and I have done a number of times, and you guys have been through this, I haven't, but for the average guy who he just worked, Burundi, and it's in the log. And then he tries to get him on 30, and he can't get him on 30, and he walks upstairs. I can't believe those guys. They didn't listen to me. They aren't doing this. And nobody really thinks about what goes on the other side of the microphone. And
Yeah.
Joe has stressed the dangers, the heat, the mosquitoes, the cold, the dangers from the military showing. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that so anytime you want to share any of that, I always find that interesting, and it makes me very empathetic. When I saw ZS8W Marion, and there were so many disparaging comments, I just want, just shut up,
Not
because
fair.
you have
That's
no
not fair.
idea what he's going through,
Yeah.
and so no, anytime you can share that, and I think it helps.
Yeah, I agree, because by and large, the average DXer sitting in his shack, he's far removed from reality of what's on the DXpedition side, and so I'd given a presentation recently about this DXpedition, and I entitled it "The DXpedition That Almost Wasn't," because this DXpedition almost did not happen. For the simple fact that the hotel that Vasily and the team had selected canceled on us like 2 or 3 weeks before we were to go over there. They said, we're sorry, we're going to be doing maintenance. Well, so that put things in a tailspin. And so you think about the logistics. You've got a Russian guy that's trying to communicate with somebody in Burundi, where their native language is pretty unique. And so he tried to find somebody to help him that knew Russian, and he stumbled across a guy. His name is Sylvester, and I won't even attempt to give say his last name. So Sylvester kind of took charge of us, and it was a leap of faith, because we kind of put the fate of this DXpedition in this guy's hands, who we didn't know from Adam. And come to find out, his background, he had lived in Russia. He's a native. He was a native Burundian, and he, after the revolution, had moved to Russia and went to school over there. A very devout Christian. He worked with a church in Russia, who actually sent him back to Burundi as a missionary. And so I can go on and on about the story, but he has his own mission there in Bujumbura, the capital, the business capital of Burundi, working with orphans that he gets from a dump. Well, we didn't know all this, or at least I didn't, but he was able to find us another location, another QTH. He told us about the power situation. They lose power over there 3 and 4 times a day, and sometimes you'll lose it 4 and 5 hours. And so he had to secure generators for us. He was able to transport us. He helped us with our transportation. It was about an hour and a half from Bujumbura, the capital where we flew into, to our QTH up in the mountains. We were located up in the mountains. It was 7,700 feet above sea level there.
Wow.
And it was just a beautiful location looking to the east. Okay. So we probably had another 600 or 700 feet to the west and the northwest towards Europe and the United States and North America, which was a problem. And so, but we couldn't do anything about that. And so I think it hampered our numbers. But to get back to Sylvester, I can't say enough about what he did. If you're a member of Indexa, or if you want to go to the Indexa website, the winter newsletter that was published in December, I wrote an article in that and talk about the the way that Sylvester helped this DXpedition. Without him, this DXpedition wouldn't have happened.
Wow.
Ultimately, we ended up back at the original location that they told us, that they had told us that they were going to be closed for maintenance, some kind of renovations or something. So I don't know if he worked some kind of magic, but we ended up there after we had paid for another place. We paid for two places.
Gee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Joe, do you have a question, Joe?
Yes. So how tell us about the power outages in your storms, blowing the antennas down. You got to put them back up, and so.
Yeah, we had storms at that elevation. You could see them coming, and we would have maybe half hour, 45 minutes of just violent wind and rain, and then it would just pass through. And we'd have to repair the antennas. We had the spider beam antennas. We had 4 of those. We had two each for 10, 15, and 20, and then we had two each for the work bands. And I don't know if you've ever seen a spider beam in a really high wind, but they have a tendency to do a lot of crazy stuff. And of course we lost some verticals too, and so we'd have to put those back up. Probably the biggest problem that we had was that took us off the air was with the electrical power outages. The generators that were brought up to us, we had 2 7,500 watt diesel generators that were old. I don't know where they got them. Only one of them actually worked. It was usable, and so we dedicated that generator to one of the rooms that had all of our digital transmitters, and we were running up to 7 FT8 stations at a time out of one of the rooms, and so that was dedicated power from the generators. The other 4 stations are human mode stations were on the commercial power. We immediately found out that the electrical service there at the hotel was inadequate. Constantly the breakers were tripping. And so we got permission from the hotel. We purchased, I guess you call it Romex cable. It was their equivalent of Romex cable. We ran 2 separate lines bypassing bypassing the breakers box, and ran direct to the other operating positions.
Wow.
But the commercial power in the country or on that part of the grid, we would still lose the power, but we weren't having to go set breakers every 15 minutes or so.
What do you think is a percentage of operating time you lost? It could, as high as 20% or?
No, I wouldn't say that much. I would say somewhere, I'd say probably maybe 2 days out of, we operated 21 days. So I don't know how many percent is that?
10%.
Don't make me do math. Yeah, 10%.
But that was a lot of cues.
Yeah, it was. Given the fact that we made 179,000, and then we lost. This is another problem that I've never encountered before. When I arrived there, I arrived a day later than the other guys. When I got there, they were at the airport trying to get their stuff out of the customs. Everything, they come in the day before. Everything that they brought had been confiscated and had been put in storage. And the radio that I brought, a ICOM 7610, was donated by DX Engineering. They took that from me, and this is this is bizarre. So you put it, when I got there, I had to put everything through an X-ray machine, and they asked, well, what's in this? What's a radio? Open it up. I opened it up. Do you have a receipt for it? Yeah, here's a receipt. You need to take us over to that man sitting over there at the table. And he looks at the receipt, and he has a piece of notebook paper. He look on his laptop. He writes down, he says, you need to pay this. I was going to have to pay something like $500 to get that cleared. And I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was there by myself. I'd never experienced this. So a lady told me, she says, you need to find somebody, your friends, you need to find somebody. And that's when I went outside, and Vasily and Sylvester were out there, and I didn't know they were trying to get all their stuff from the day before. So now they got my radio, and we were there till after they closed that night, and there was. Let's just put it this way. There was some money that exchanged hands. There were no receipts given. My understanding is this is the way it is over there. This is just the way it is. And supposedly we would get the money back. And I talked to Vasily a couple of weeks ago. He says, we're not going to get that money back. So I don't know how much was involved, but we had to pay customs to get all our equipment in there. And there were seven pallets of
Oh
stuff.
my God.
Yeah.
So is the problem in all these trips that you've been on, Hal, when you run into this type of situation, is it because the custom people don't understand ham radio, or do you think it's just an easy way to make money? Or
Yes.
maybe it's both.
No, it's there's I hate to say third world, but
It's a different paradigm.
it's a different, we don't realize how fortunate we are in this. I mean, this country is one of the poorest countries on earth. You can look in the CIA World Fact Book. There's maybe half a dozen countries on earth that are close to being the poverty level that they are in Burundi. And so you've got poverty, you've got corruption, you've got that. And it's unfortunate. It's a beautiful country. And the people were absolutely wonderful. And it makes you just, wonder, how they exist, because they're living on less than $2 a day, Bill. And I mentioned the article that I wrote about, and Indexa ended up doing a humanitarian grant, and I worked with Sylvester. You can read about it in that article that I wrote. But his ministry, his mission, there's a dump. It's the commercial dump landfill for Bujumbura, and he goes to that dump, and he took me there. I said, I want to see what you do. He took me to his mission, his orphanage. He took me to the dump. He gets kids. He rescues kids from this dump. They go there every day, and they're sifting through garbage. The garbage trucks come in, and they're looking through the garbage trying to find food. They're trying to find. Oh, it's terrible, Joe. It's it really makes you think, how blessed we are. I'm over there, playing radio, and here's people that are just trying to live.
Yes.
Yes. And it really puts things in perspective.
Wow.
But yeah, so
I think I got K3LR, Dave Collingham. He's a silent key now, but he was telling me we had a chance at a DX dinner, just to kind of, I heard of you and who are you, and we talked, and And I so you go all over the place on these DXpeditions. What you enjoy, you must enjoy this. He says, you know what it does? It gives you a real appreciation for what we have and appreciation for what they don't. And he
Yeah.
says, and when you see it, you feel that you need to do something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was famous for, everybody would leave the equipment behind. They'd bring school supplies. They'd bring all those things. And wow, wow.
Well,
So,
and that's probably the one regret I have, that I didn't know more about, what I was getting into, or I would have been more prepared,
Yeah,
to help, because I was limited resources. I had some extra money with me,
sure.
and so, I mean, I was able to help out some. He took me into town, with the money that we had. And by the way, there's two economies there. There's and they're open about it. There's the regular economy, and then there's the black market economy. And so I had $600, and we went to the bank to get it converted to Burundi francs. He didn't go in the bank. He met somebody in the parking lot.
Ah.
And I've got pictures of him with a big old wad of these bills, and it was 3.6 million Burundi francs. He says if I'd have gone in the bank, I would only get 1.8 million Burundi francs.
wow.
So it's two to one on the exchange now.
So Hal, tell us about the weather. So you're out here in the middle of Africa.
Three degrees below the equator, and there's sleet. There's ice balls one day. Cold. We had to wear jackets and sweaters and stuff. It would get cold at night.
I saw some of that on your Facebook postings. So did you realize that it could be that cold?
No, I did not. No, I didn't. And the other thing, they said, well, there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes. I never saw a mosquito one. I had all. You remember my experience with the bugs out on Swain. So I mean, I had all these insect repellent. I even had the netting for my head for mosquitoes. Wow, shoot! It was too cold, windy up here for mosquitoes.
So that's an upside.
They froze to death.
Yeah, but the wind could, or the weather rather, could change on a dime.
You just wouldn't expect that in Africa, because you think of that whole continent to be very hot.
Yeah, not at 7,700 feet above sea level.
Yeah,
and the pictures were beautiful. The country and the landscape, and
it's a gorgeous place.
Wow.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
What kind of equipment did you use, and how did it hold up?
So we had K3s. We had, I think, 4 K3s. We had Sun SDRs, and we had the IC7610 that DX Engineering had provided. Everything held up. We did lose an amplifier, and I'm really surprised we didn't lose more with the power fluctuations and the power outages and so forth, just off and on. I'm surprised we didn't lose more equipment, power supplies, but everything performed well. The antennas, we were able to repair the antennas when they blow down. But I think the only real casualty that I'm aware of was one of the expert amplifiers.
Wow.
So that was very fortunate.
And those are somewhat bulletproof, if I recall. I mean, they're when the power's doing that.
I needed you guys on 80 meters is the only band that I really needed you on.
And you got us, didn't you?
Yeah, really.
Did you need us on 60, or had you worked them on 60 before?
No.
Okay.
I had them on all bands, but 80.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was disappointed, probably in 6 meters. One of the guys, Leo RW9JZ, he had a homebrew, I think, a 7-element 6-meter Yagi that was just, it was beautiful. And we set it up in the front of the hotel, and it was cut off completely. It was the wrong side. I said, well, we need to move this up behind the hotel, which we ended up doing. But we got a couple of really good openings to Europe. Got opening to JA. We worked China, but it never did pop to North America. Worked I think a few South Americans and Caribbean, but I had Don, N1DG, and some of the other guys. They're like
Yeah.
and
I could have used you on 6 meters, but that was
a lot of people could.
Yeah, a lot of
yes.
people.
And my plan, if we would have had a clear shot at North America with the horizon, I wanted to try to do some terrestrial EME, but didn't even have a decent shot at on our moon set over there.
Wow.
Sure.
So there were some people disappointed about that, but maybe the next group goes over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys had a massive number of QSOs, and you also did a little research into the German on the German website to find out where you kind of stand. You want to share that with everybody?
Yeah. So the German DX Foundation has a mega DXpedition website where they keep records. I think there's 468 DXpeditions that have been entered into their database. And so with our 179,000 plus QSOs from 9U1RU, that DXpedition places fourth in all time out of the 468. It ranks fourth.
Wow.
Of all DXpeditions, the number of QSOs. Another statistic, it had it's the most QSOs. We had the most QSOs of any DXpedition on 30 meters, and there was a couple other things, but yeah, it was pretty significant. We had, I think, 41,000 unique call signs.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
41,000.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
That is a lot.
yeah, it's quite a few, and we had a good mix. We had 41,000 CW QSOs, 25,000 sideband, and then 113,000 digital QSOs.
Sure.
So we're very proud of the numbers that we turned out. We got a lot of positive response from the DX world, and so it was fun for us, and I hope it was rewarding for everybody else that needed 9U for challenge point or whatever you needed.
So if I would have asked you ahead of time, how many Qs would you like to get in the log? Would you have said nearly 200,000?
No, I don't, because I didn't think, first of all, I didn't think we had enough operators. And now scheduling, we really doubled up on the operating, and so after a while, of course, it becomes a little bit cumbersome. But conditions turned out to be really good. We ran QRO on the human modes and at least 3 of the digital stations. On the higher frequencies, we could get by with 100 watts and could just make cues right and left. But no, I would have thought maybe 125,000, but no, I didn't think we'd make that much.
Yeah.
That's a staggering amount. It really is.
Yeah.
So Al, looking back on the whole thing since you're home, looking back on it, what would you guys do different, if anything?
I think probably, the location was, if we'd had an opportunity to get know a little bit more about our location and find something that gave us more of a clear shot, to North America. Ultimately we ended up with less than 20% of our cues were to North America.
Really?
Yeah, and you know, of course, the bulk of them were, I think, maybe close to 60% were to Europe. But yeah, I never would have thought that less than 20% of our QSOs would have been North America, and it's because we were cut off to basically cut off to North America with the mountain behind us.
On the wrong side of the hill.
We were on the wrong side of the hill. So, you know, maybe next time do a little bit more research. Now the other hotel that he had gone ahead and booked when he thought this one was not going to pan out for us was even worse.
Oh,
yeah, it was worse. So,
you know, I thought you were going to say you'd have left the mosquito netting home and brought heavier clothes.
well, that too.
Yeah, that's interesting. So if I go back and rephrase my question, you know, I said, hey, if I'd asked you last year, you know, what number do you think you'd get to? Would you have said 180,000? But in reality, if I'd have said, what number do you think you would get to? And you're only going to get 20% of that total from North America. You probably would have ratcheted that number down even further.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's terrific.
I would have.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
But anyway, we were very happy with it, and you know, everybody had a good time. Everybody got along, and it was just a great experience. And I look forward to operating with these guys again at some point.
Yeah.
Do you know when the QSL cards are going out? I'm asking for a friend.
They should be going out soon. I know he sent Vasily sent us the copies of what they designed or what he designed. I'm not sure who's doing it. It's probably been about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So the cards have been designed. I can find out and let you know.
No. I'm a patient guy, but I thought, well, I got you. So when you did the Central America tour, I can't think of the young lady, the young Russian that went with you, but you remember we did that podcast.
Yes.
And
Raisa.
and she designed that absolutely gorgeous shirt.
Sure.
Now, you guys didn't do anything for this trip, did you?
No, not like that. No.
That was one of the coolest shirts I'd ever seen.
Yeah. She did an awesome, and there were matching shorts too.
Oh, that's right.
There's matching shorts.
Yeah.
But that's Ray's R1BIG.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
she was fun to interview and a good operator. My goodness.
Yeah.
So I would be remiss. I think I see over your shoulder some empty suitcases. Are you going to be filling those up and heading anywhere soon, or?
No, not soon. But you know, we're hoping that just to back up. You know, I'm currently on another DXpedition right now. You do know that, right? I
assume you're talking about Desecheo.
Yes, I'm one of the remote operators of the KP5 stroke KP3VI DXpedition at Desecheo.
Yes.
And so, you know, that's ongoing. But in terms of me packing a suitcase and going anywhere in the near term, no. But there may be something in the works that comes out of what's going on at KP5 right now.
Okay.
So there's been some discussions, and hopefully next year this will pan out. But no, nothing on the books. If you know something, a good location that I need to look at, or if you know somebody's looking for a team member, Joe, you ready to go
P5.
somewhere?
Can you go to P5?
Yeah, boy, wouldn't it be P5?
He could be a candidate for our BOTA program. We're trying to do breweries on the air. We thought that would be.
Wouldn't that be fitting, Hal?
Yes, buddy.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, nothing I'd like better than to do a BOTA with my buddy Joe Pater.
I know.
And a beer.
And a beer. Beer in hand.
Well, Joe, did I leave anything out?
I'll never forget. Let me throw this out there. I'll never forget Joe, you and me and Jerry, WB9Z. We were at where were we at? Wake? I think it was a Wake, and we're sitting out there we had some beers, and I think Jerry had some cigars, or somebody had a cigar, and we're
Yes.
sitting out there drinking
Well,
ice cold beer. They rationed that beer like it was,
yeah. Drinking a beer, smoking a cigar,
dark. Life was
yeah.
good out there in the middle of the Pacific.
Looking at the
After
sunset.
it was beautiful. It was. We watched the sunset.
Yes.
What a
Yeah.
memory.
I
What a
can't
memory.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Bob Hope's theme song. Thanks for the
Yeah.
memories.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. Well,
Yes.
we've got a few memories there,
Oh
and
my God. Yes.
Wow.
I appreciate you, Joe. I really
Oh,
do.
it's a mutual feeling. Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Yes. It's been fun.
Well, did I leave anything out?
No, no, I think we covered our list pretty good, Bill.
Oh, I'll tell you one other thing. I don't know why this is curious to me. It could be because I weigh 310 pounds, but what, what did you guys have to eat there on a regular basis?
Oh my gosh, it was very meager. We would have like a 3 egg omelet in for breakfast that might have tomato in it.
Yeah.
They
Hmm.
might have bread, and then for dinner you had your choice. You could either have fish and chips, you could have steak with rice, or you could have spaghetti.
Hmm.
And then every day, that's the
Oh,
same thing every day. And yeah, I mean you'd get you'd get full.
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, that was it.
Yeah. But once again, you guys aren't sitting on the veranda drinking, drinks with umbrellas in them and
No,
perusing the menu to determine
no,
what you're going to have that night.
we were there to make QSOs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was business. I mean, it was a business. We were
Do
going to
you,
make QSO.
do you guys, either one of you guys ever, because I find myself like the CQ Worldwide um, contest. We're only talking about 48 hours. But in that last Sunday afternoon, so I find it really hard to motivate myself to stay in the chair and keep going. How do you guys do it for 20 days? That just blows me away. Is there
Well,
just not?
we have a mindset, and you'll probably agree with me, Hal. We have a mindset that we're going to go there and we're going to work 100,000 cues, and that's what we do. I don't know that I have ever been swimming on any of my D expeditions. We just concentrate on working radios and repairing antennas and doing whatever we have to do, but we don't do a whole lot of sightseeing or fishing or anything, do we, Al?
Yeah.
No, I went into town with Sylvester to buy the supplies and stuff for his orphanage, and I felt guilty about that. I really did, but it was for a good cause. But the other guys are back up on the mountain making cues, and
Sure.
somebody's working my shift, and but
Yeah.
yeah,
I could see where
it's a
that would be.
job.
Yeah.
When I'm here by myself, it's one thing, but if I knew there
Yeah,
were three other guys here that I'm sure I'd, jump in and go. But hey,
Oh,
and
sure.
on a serious note,
yeah.
is there any thought, should we I mean, we've got the DX dinner, we've got the DX forum. Could we pass the hat for Sebastian and send him something to help out the orphanage and
Sylvester.
stuff?
Sylvester, he sent me he finally got a PayPal account, and I told him, I said, dude, you need to get a PayPal account. And so he did get one. I think I published it in that newsletter. So
Okay.
if anybody wants to help out, they can do that.
All right.
And
I'll put a link to that in the show notes so that everybody can get to it.
but his organization, it's called Back to Life, the Back to Life Association, and it's an incredible story, you know. And I don't want to end on a sad note, but it's worthwhile,
A good cause.
if you want to do good humanitarian, he's a good cause, and he helped us. We would not have done this DXpedition without Sylvester. So
It's obvious to me, and I've had dinner with you a couple times. I've been at Joe's house with you and the DX dinner, and that whole thing really moved you. I can just see that. I can hear
yeah,
it.
yeah,
And
it
good for
did.
you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
so it was like a life-changing moment for me.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's end on a good note. What is your funniest DXpedition story?
The funniest DXpedition story? Oh man, I know, it would have to involve Joe Pater. I
Well,
know.
as soon as we're done, you're gonna go in and refill your water, and I should have told the one about the rum and coke on the beach. Or
Oh well, we had a what was it, crab races out on Swains was kind of fun. We were
Yeah.
betting on the crab
Crabs.
race. There's hermit crabs. That was kind of cool. And then Joe with Bill, he called him Bill. Was it Deepmar? Not Deep. Was it Deepmar?
Yeah, his name was Dietmar.
Deepmar. Yeah, he
And
called him.
I
called
never
him Bill.
could think of it. So I just called him Bill, and he asked me one time, he said, Joe, why do you call me Bill? And I just couldn't remember his name. Yeah. So that joke still goes on today. I met him last year in Dayton, and I called him Bill.
Yeah.
we were talking one time about how it's sometimes you really have to rely on the local people like Sebastian. And
Yeah.
Joe has a video of, I think it's I guess I don't remember, but they drove the ski-doos right up into the boat. Remember that? They drove the
The ATV.
yeah.
Yeah. How was there? That was on Swains.
Wow.
Yeah.
They just
I had never seen anything like that before.
I mean, they came flying off the water at 30 miles
Yeah.
an hour and shut it down in about 15 feet. And
I got a good video of that.
David Jennings did that. He was, he's one of the owners of the island.
Yeah.
He and Alex, his brother Alex.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was something. That's on YouTube or one of those video sharing channels.
well,
It's out there for posterity.
if I can find a link, I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
So,
I'll
Hal,
find the-
hey, we as we anticipated, we really enjoyed this.
Thank you, Bill.
It was an outstanding discussion, and I think it's really important that when we get out, and it could be here the way we represent ourselves here, or wherever it is, that we do a class and we're sensitive to the situation. You clearly did that, and my hat's off to you. And if you can think of something we can do to help, man, just let us know.
Let us know. Sure.
We'd be happy to do that. And
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you at the DX dinner.
Buddy,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody I'd rather
Break bread
hang around
with.
with. Yeah, the Swodex hospitality suite with Kevin and Mindy and Bill and Joe and Janet and
There you go.
the whole fam family, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Al, for
All right,
your
bud.
time. It's been great again.
Thank
Yep.
you, Joe.
Thanks,
Uh-huh.
buddy. Y'all
Take
have a
care.
good evening.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
73.
7-3.
7-3.
So there we go. I appreciate it.
I got a terrible cramp in my leg.
Oh my! Stop it. Well, listen. You all have a wonderful evening.
You too, buddy.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you need anything from me, holler. Okay.
You know
Uh-huh.
what I still need? I still
that,
need
brother?
those Indexa inserts to put into envelopes.
Oh, I gotta get up.
I need to send you some.
Yeah, we had that Indexa call like 2 years ago. We did a podcast.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't you. I think it could have been N2O, but somebody was going to send me a bunch of those that I could pass out at the club and have them put them in their envelopes and stuff. Or
All right.
just send me a sheet and I'll make a bunch of copies and cut them up.
No, I'll send you a pack. We haven't printed like packs of 500.
Okay.
I'll send you a pack of them.
All right. We'll do it.
I'll try to get those out tomorrow.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Hey, we'll see you in a month. No, 2
Okay.
months, 3 months.
2
But yeah, and when they do send their order in, make sure they say West Virginia DX Club, and
Yep.
they'll be with you.
All right, Bill. Thank
We'll
you
see
so
you guys.
much, buddy.
Okay,
Appreciate you.
guys.
Thanks again.
Good night.
Where's
Good
this
night.
where's the end button at, Joe? I don't see it. Joe and I really did enjoy this conversation with Hal, and I hope you did as well. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the DX Mentor. If you're enjoying these DX Mentor episodes, please hit the subscribe button. I would like to thank our sponsors, ICOM America, the DailyDX, and DX Engineering. You won't find anyone more committed to DX than these sponsors. I would also like to thank my guests today, Hal, W8HC, and Joe, W8GEX. I would especially like to thank you, our listeners and viewers. Without you, there would be no reason to do this. I would love to have your feedback, answer your questions, and provide help with any DX or amateur radio related issues that you may have. If you need clarification on something or you just have a question, email me at thedxmentor@gmail.com. Please drop me a line if you've achieved an all-time new one, received recognition, or have a DX event that you would like us to mention. We would be happy to do that. Remember, you can get weekly updates on DX activities every Saturday morning via the This Week in DX podcast and YouTube episodes. They both drop around 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Also, you can catch the DX Mentor weekly show on W2PHradio.com, the only internet radio station dedicated to ham radio. 7-3 for this episode, and thanks to my XYL Karen for her love and support. I hope to see you in the pileups.